These guys, Morales, Prates, Shavkat, they make me like training every day more hard. But because I see this is the real fighters who can give me good fights. It's more tough guys, more big guys. With all respect, they are the most powerful division right now.
I need a message for Islam Makhachev.
I will knock you out, bro. Knock you out, bro.
Knock you out?
I will bring that belt to Brazil. The first welterweight champ from Brazil.
I feel in my heart of hearts it's going to be Carlos Prates. I feel like that's the move. That's the guy who's been more active. That's the guy who has the higher quality wins.
Now, still, stylistically, and particularly a guy like Prates, I do believe that the UFC is probably going to give him Carlos Prates because they like him. Bro, stylistically, that's a great matchup for Islam Makhachev.
Islam Makhachev has just put Carlos Prates, Michael Morales, and Shavkat Rakhmonov on notice. But Prates is demanding the champion next and is already promising to put him away, with Ariel Helwani calling Islam versus Prates the best matchup, and Henry Cejudo also pushing for it. The welterweight division is reaching a boiling point. Islam Makhachev has admitted that Carlos Prates, Michael Morales, and Shavkat Rakhmonov are among the dangerous contenders, forcing him to push his training even harder, showing just how seriously he views the threats at welterweight. But Islam isn't planning to sit around. He wants another fight before Ramadan, meaning his return could potentially happen as early as January.
These guys, Morales, Prates, Shavkat, they make me like training every day more hard. But because I see this is the real fighters who can give me good fights. It's more tough guys, more big guys. With all respect, they are the most powerful division right now.
However, analyst Ariel Helwani believes Islam Makhachev's arrival at 170 pounds is about to create an entirely different level of competition, pointing toward Carlos Prates, Michael Morales, and Shavkat as the dangerous names waiting for their opportunity. But Ariel already appears to have a favorite for Islam's next opponent, and his take could completely shake up the welterweight title picture.
I'm fascinated with Islam at 170 because I think it's going to be a lot tougher for him. And so now we're going to really truly see who he is. He's already proven himself at 155. There was really nothing left. Yes, there was another Arman fight. And yes, we wanted to see the Ilya fight. And I would argue that I probably wanted to see those fights more than any other challenge at 170. But now, him versus Carlos, him versus Michael Morales, him versus Shavkat, maybe a rematch down the line against Ian Garry. Sign me up. I can't wait to see how it all plays out. And so who are they going to go with? They had Carlos there, they had cameras on him, they did the split screen with Michael Morales and Carlos Prates. I feel in my heart of hearts it's going to be Carlos Prates. I feel like that's the move. That's the guy who's been more active. That's the guy who has the higher quality wins. I feel like this is the move.
The discussion has turned absolutely fierce as analysts break down Carlos Prates and Michael Morales, two terrifying knockout artists rising through the welterweight rank. But with both Prates and Morales tearing through elite opposition, one question is now impossible to escape. Who has truly earned the right to challenge Islam Makhachev next?
Carlos's last 3 wins, Jack Della TKO, Leon KO, Jeff Neal KO, and then the loss to Ian is in the 4th fight.
Sorry, I said 2 ago, 3 ago. My mistake.
No, and I'm just trying to compare. The Brady TKO was supremely impressive. The Gilbert Burns TKO was impressive as well. Obviously a little bit, back end. Neil Magny TKO is very impressive. The guy just never dies. He looked great on Saturday, once again, coming back. Jake Matthews decision, Max Griffin, Adam Fugit, Trevor
but
Giles.
these are like very early on in his career.
No, I'm
He's
just
7-0 UFC,
100%.
19-0 overall. The good news is both of them have insane knockout power. Carlos Prates might be the hardest hitting 170er. I mean, he literally ethers everyone. Michael Morales as well. I think we're going to see both of them. If he passes the test on whoever is next, I think...
Ariel Helwani has thrown a major twist into the contender race, asking why the UFC shouldn't book Carlos Prates versus Michael Morales as a genuine #1 contender fight and finally determine who deserves Islam Makhachev. Rather than letting the contenders battle for position, Ariel wants these two dangerous fighters to settle the issue inside the octagon and earn their title opportunity.
So it's interesting you say that because I remember saying not that long ago, why can't we have Carlos versus Michael? Why can't we figure this out? Because the resumes are so equal, because they actually both have very strong cases, why can't we see them fight each other to then figure out, like, You know, there used to be a thing called a number one contender fight, like a true number one contender fight to determine who is the guy rather than the jockeying of position, right? And a lot of people were saying, no, that's crazy. Why would you kill off a contender? Well, that's the whole point. Like, you want to see who the rightful guy is.
From another angle, Henry Cejudo has turned the pressure all the way up, insisting that if the UFC wants to properly sort out the welterweight title race, Carlos Prates should face Michael Morales for the number one contender position. But Cejudo then delivered the biggest twist. He thinks the UFC could still skip that fight and match Prates directly against Islam Makhachev because of the stylistic matchup. And after Ian Garry revealed holes in Prates' game, Cejudo believes Islam could have a matchup that is much more favorable than many fans expect.
If the UFC wants to make this right, Kamaru, hold on real quick. If the UFC wants to make this right, you have to make Carlos Prates fight Michael Morales, number one contender. That's one. That's one. You cannot pick one. But check this out. Check what I'm about to say. Now, still, stylistically, and particularly a guy like Prates, I do believe that the UFC is probably going to give him Carlos Prates because they like him. Bro, stylistically, that's a great matchup for Islam Makhachev. Notice what Ian Garry did to Prates. You know what I'm saying? If Prates only won one round from him, to me, in my opinion, Ian Garry only won one round from Islam Makhachev. Like, the reality is, at 170 pounds, the guy that's undefeated, I think it should probably be Michael Morales, dude.
Meanwhile, Carlos Prates has made his intentions perfectly clear. He wants Islam Makhachev, not Michael Morales, and he's chasing the biggest challenge available. Prates is already escalating the rivalry, warning Islam that if they eventually meet, he intends to chase him down and put the champion to sleep.
I need a message for Islam Makhachev.
I will knock you out, bro. Knock you out, bro.
Knock you out?
I will bring that belt to Brazil. The first welterweight champ from Brazil.
However, MMA Guru's gut feeling is that Carlos Prates and Michael Morales should collide in a huge title eliminator. He believes whoever wins would establish himself as the undeniable number one contender and secure the next opportunity against Islam Makhachev. With both dangerous contenders chasing the same prize, Guru views Prates versus Morales as the perfect final test before getting a shot at Islam.
He said he wants to fight before Ramadan, so he's thinking January.
That makes sense.
I saw Morales and Prates in the crowd at this event, and they were kind of like chummy with each other, like laughing and
really
like chucking some zingers back and forth at
unacceptable.
each other in the crowd. There used to be a way of figuring this shit out, and that would be if Morales and Prates fought each other in a fight night main event with an open crowd and the people. I think that would be an amazing title elimination bout, and it would hype up the winner versus Makhachev even more, because we know we're going to be waiting some time for Makhachev to come.
Sean O'Malley delivered a confident prediction, suggesting Ian Garry is durable enough to immediately accept another dangerous challenge after fighting Islam Makhachev. He believes Garry would willingly step into a fight with Michael Morales, potentially creating another explosive matchup in an already chaotic welterweight division.
Bigger, better guys. I think you have Ian Garry versus Michael Morales. Ian's not super hurt. That's a hard fight. That's a tough fight to throw him in there after throwing him in there against Islam. But Ian Garry's the type of dude that will take that fight. Ian versus Morales, Carlos versus Islam. I'm calling Sugar Sean Shelby right now.
Turning to the Islam versus Ian Garry fight aftermath, Israel Adesanya appeared impressed as Islam Makhachev once again showed why he remains at the summit of MMA. Ian Garry weathered the pressure and competed against the pound-for-pound king, but was that enough to genuinely challenge Islam? Adesanya believes the fight raised the stock of both men, yet Islam's performance delivered the much stronger statement. Now the frightening question is simple. Who can actually stop Makhachev?
And good for Ian to recover, stay composed, and not get finished, because most men would have got finished in that point.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't get hurt like that as well. Yeah, crazy fight. And again, I think this still, like already it's in Islam's stock is up here. He's the pound for pound best fighter in the world right now. So this elevates his stock, but also for Ian Garry, for him to go out there, and go toe-to-toe with the best in the world. I think that elevates him as well. So
However, Demetrious Johnson couldn't conceal his frustration as he questioned Ian Garry's approach against Islam Makhachev. With the biggest opportunity of his career directly in front of him, Mighty felt Garry was focused too much on surviving instead of unleashing everything needed to dethrone the champion. He even questioned whether Garry possessed the ruthless killer instinct required to finish someone like Islam. But the bigger question remains: if Ian couldn't fully unleash himself against Islam, will another contender actually take that risk?
Yeah, I hope. I mean, it's so hard because like after Ian lost, he was almost like, I lost. Like I felt like he survived. I don't know. I have like a weird mixed emotion about like he survived, and I felt like he didn't give it. It's kind of hard for me to say this, right? It's almost like I never forget when I fought Dominic Cruz, I left it out there. I was fucking battered, beaten, fucking face was all swollen. I gave it my all. Like if I could, I just really, I guess you say, laid it all out on the line. Like I'm gonna try to fucking finish you. And I just didn't feel that same killer instinct. Even Dana White said the exact same thing.
I felt like, I think that Ian is a talented guy. If he had even an ounce of killer instinct, you don't come out and hug and shake hands in the fight. That shit drives me fucking crazy.
Dude, I had the opportunity to dethrone the greatest of the generation, of my generation, the greatest of all time. You know, the 2 divisional champ. And I didn't feel that killer instinct. But when you look at his past fights, his 5 fights he's gone to decision, he hasn't really developed new skills. You know, he is only 28.
Wrapping it up, Mighty also explained how Islam Makhachev once again exposed the gap in levels, repeatedly forcing Ian Garry into survival mode through relentless grappling pressure. Garry had moments where his skills flashed, but Islam's control, timing, and adjustments continued neutralizing his biggest weapons. The most frightening part, whenever Garry appeared ready to shift momentum, Islam immediately found another answer and regained control. Could this fight have finally shown that Islam isn't simply elite, but operating several levels above the competition?
Yeah, so that was one thing he did good, but I still, and then the other thing that Ian Garry did very well, that I think everybody's like excited about, is that each time Islam Makhachev shot the single leg, his head was on the outside. Ian Garry did a good job stuffing that his head, right side, grabbing the butt cheek, diving in.
Kind of how Conor did against Khabib in the first round.
Exactly. The first time it happened, Islam stuck with it. The second time, Ian Garry was able to beat the shoulder. The third time, Islam basically just brought his arm out. Even if he beat the shoulder, he brought his arm out, and that's where he kind of secured it.
Yeah.
But still, it's when somebody's constantly on defense in a fight, you're you don't have as many. You're behind. You're constantly behind, waiting for the opponent to get tired,
make a mistake,
right? So if you fight Ian Garry and you don't make a mistake, then the likely chance of you winning that fight, if you have more tools in the toolbox, it favors you a lot more. And that's what I think we saw, with Islam Makhachev.
Ultimately, Islam Makhachev has made it known that Carlos Prates, Michael Morales, and Shavkat Rakhmonov are among the dangerous contenders waiting for him at welterweight. But Prates has no interest in backing away. He wants Islam next and is already warning the champion that he intends to knock him out. Ariel Helwani views Prates versus Morales as a possible #1 contender battle, while Henry Cejudo believes the UFC could still put Prates directly against Islam. MMA Guru also sees Prates versus Morales as the fight that could determine who genuinely deserves the next title opportunity. Meanwhile, Sean O'Malley thinks Ian Garry could immediately enter another dangerous matchup with Morales after facing Islam. And following Islam's performance against Garry, Israel Adesanya and Demetrious Johnson have left fans with an even bigger question. Who can actually stop Makhachev now? The welterweight division has officially exploded, with Prates, Morales, Shavkat, and Garry all positioned around Islam Makhachev. But with every contender presenting a completely different challenge, the biggest question is still hanging over the division. Who has truly earned the right to face Islam next? Drop your prediction in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for the latest UFC news and explosive fight breakdown. Prates wants Islam next, and he's already promising to knock the champion out. out. But should Prates receive the title shot immediately? Or does he need to first survive Michael Morales in a vicious #1 contender showdown? If you enjoyed this breakdown, smash that like button and share this video with another UFC fan. Subscribe now and turn on notifications so you never miss the next explosive update on Islam Makhachev, Carlos Prates, and the welterweight championship picture.